Welcome to Java. Thank you for joining me. It's February 11th, 2025. It is also Tuesday. We are going to be hearing J-Paul testimony today. So we will be hearing from a few creatures. We've got an awful lot of things to talk about this morning. This is running a bit late. I had a bit of an issue with the first time. But before I start in, would also like to say hello to Irv and Mary. Thank you both very much for pointing me out yesterday. I appreciate your help and I appreciate you guys always being here. So let's get started as always with market risk indicator to start with the MMRI slightly rising. Now, this morning, what this is on is the 10-year yield more than the relative strength of the dollar, which is also holding high at 108.28 at the moment. So above 108 still has a lot of relative strength. What that's doing is crushing other currencies and bringing in money from other markets. Now, the 10-year yield is the real story, and this is ahead of hearing from Fed Chair Powell is going to begin his testimony to Congress today. We'll talk about that with the calendar in a moment. But what this is doing is a shift out of the markets bit, purchasing in the debt market, the bonds. It's a little bit more of a fear trade, if you will, not to mention gold. Now, gold hit 2,950 mark. The target price for it, now we're all guessing, but the target price that I had out for it was 3,000 by the second quarter. Looks like we might hit that prior to that. So with this, let's look a little bit more into our fear greed meter. We're at neutral territory. So with all of this going on, this shows more retailers jumping back into this market, trying to buy the dip. Now, this might not be a good time for them. We'll see. But at the minute, the market is a bit higher. I think we are drawing funds from other markets. This is a currency shift more than other things. So a lot of this is because of the tariffs, steel tariffs coming in. Now, with this daily driver still the buy the dip green, that's why we're watching more heading towards this neutral territory at the moment. I left this crypto regulation taking a backseat to the CFPB. This is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, because I want to bring this up in a little bit in what it is doing and why it's a good thing that they are crushing it, because a lot of people got a few comments about this and that they believe that they are protecting the consumer. And that's not necessarily the case, but I'll talk about that in a moment. So this coming out about why a clash between President Trump and Fed Chair Jerome looks inevitable. Now, the argument is whether they're going to raise or lower rates. Talking about inflation, both of them are going to push inflation in their own ways up. So inflation will continue, because if it hits deflation too severely, that would lead to a depression, not just a depression, but massive depression. So at the moment, for these markets that are looking green at the moment, not so good in the future. So we'll see how this affects the markets as it opens. We've got crude a little bit higher. We've got a little bit on the military side that we'll talk about in a bit as well. So calendar. All eyes on Fed Chair Powell at 10 a.m. and then some other Fed governors speaking, quite a few creatures on the docket for this morning. Now, really, it's all about Wednesday, because we're looking at these core inflation numbers prior to the market open, which is why this is here. So tomorrow, Wednesday, we're getting CPI and then Thursday PPI. So Jerome will be speaking tomorrow as well. So what's going on with all of this inflation? Driving gold prices higher, close to the 3,000 mark. But this brings out something else that I've had quite a few people asking me about putting money into miners. And I've always answered, especially at this time, somewhere down the road, miners might be a good buy again if they become productive in the cost sector. Now, right now, they are struggling as the costs are going up, so they're not making profit. So when this happens, the asset will profit first, Once gold gets high enough, that will increase their profit margin that they have to cover the labor and the costs of fuel. So with this, I've said that I prefer to own the asset itself. Miners, sometime down the road, perhaps, but at this moment they are not. Uh, they're not profitable. So we've got some interesting things happening here. What's almost as good as gold? Well, eggs. California Costco is running out of eggs in less than 10 minutes. Look, this is one person that's got this stacked up. Then this really smacks of what happened during C19 with toilet paper. So people panic. This is the mob mentality. And that really is the worst danger of all is panic. It's all a psychological thing that people have been pushed into for some time. So look for these types of things to continue with this bird flu. Egg prices are ridiculous on the inflation side. However, it's no need for this, particularly if you're prepared. So I want to talk about OpenAI. Sam Altman, or as he calls him, Scam Altman, rejected a buyout offer from Musk, offered $97.4 billion for OpenAI. Now they opened it up for sellout because they want to become for profit. So of course, they've got an ongoing war, and in turn, Altman sniped back that he would in turn purchase X. So I don't know how he came up with that since X is not for sale. And if he's looking for money to raise for his own company, it's kind of backwards. However, still got this little rivalry going here. Now, I want to hit this. We are going to be hitting more unemployment as this comes forward. That's going to be the market that we're looking for. So leaving this up here also. But with the war side of this, so to speak, war side, they're trying to make negotiations over these hostages. And I have to be very careful about what I say here, but this is his quote that all kinds of issues will start happening if this timeline is not met by Saturday at noon. So he's made these other comments about owning this particular real estate area, that he would build safe communities a little bit away from where they are now, where the danger is. In the meantime, that US would own this and that it's a beautiful piece of property. So I don't know how you feel about that. However, he's repeating this, as it says here, the pledge to take control of it, even as they're trying to still renew this is very tenuous ceasefire going on. So with all of this kind of trouble, there is also between these two, more going on between Ukraine and meeting with the king of Jordan. So he is meeting today and tomorrow with him. So that over the other side, we'll see how some of this plays out. Now, back to CFPB, Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. They were the ones that rolled out this idea that small businesses would have to do what, in essence, KYC, which is a very negative issue for them. They would have to do the reporting. And this was the overhead that could potentially wipe out multiple small, medium-sized businesses. So Fifth Circuit now halting their small business date rule again. So now they're looking at kind of shutting this down, changing the rules. But this was a major issue to a lot of small, medium businesses coming out. And they were looking at kind of cutting this out. They are also very, you could say, borderline corrupt or fully corrupt. Okay, now we've got BNY Mellon, the bank, is the first to transfer $10 million over Clearinghouse RTP. That's real-time payments network. Now, I'm bringing this up because this is all in regards to what is going to be happening with the crypto shift, what we're watching behind the scenes for the central bank digital currencies, if you will. This is the first small, big step. I say small, big step because it's really a large step, but it's in the background and they're keeping it very quiet. So they've got the system in working. It'll be a minor shift by the time that happens. A couple of other things to bring up. This I thought was interesting. Now, this are the states that have either adopted Bitcoin Reserve or in the process. So these with the solid gold B, have adopted. These are partially adopted, the dark blue states. And then these, North Dakota, the only one that has rejected one. And then the other lighter blue is pending, North Carolina, and that they've already got one in place as well. So it is adopting, a lot more moving. We've got Korea looking, the exchange chief pushing for crypto ETFs now because they want to boost their markets because they're having a little bit of some issues with their capital flows. So this is a way for them to boost it. They're looking at how much this is bringing in the United States, in the United markets. It is massive number, nowhere near where it's going. It's still very early stages. So not too late to get in, if you will. So there was also a solo miner. What does this mean? This means small person with their own computers, however, personal setup. They got awarded the Bitcoin block reward. And going forward, this is very positive, not just for this person who got this, but what this says is that this still remains to this day. Decentralized network, there's still independents that have the ability to get in here. We've got proof of work still in effect and still showing the strengths of Bitcoin for cryptocurrency that can work outside of the system that they plan on introducing at any time. It will not be Bitcoin. Wanted to talk about the Trump tariffs will not go unanswered. This is Ursula von der Leyen saying that they will do reciprocal tariffs over in the EU, but there are quite a few issues there. Now, this is the UK, granted, but it's a follow-on to what is also going on in the EU. So tractors blocking central London and massive farmers protest. This is because of an inheritance tax change. And what this is doing is this is, in essence, bankrupting a lot of family farms because instead of being able to hand them down, or what they're doing with some of these, is they're getting taxed so massively that they're losing their farms. The side effect of this trickle down, if you would, is that losing these family farms is losing control of the food supply locally. So very bad for the UK. And it's going to happen further in EU. They're watching a lot of imports. The price is being pressured by Ukraine, so that's a lot of the other issue there. We've got a Serbian leader saying the West spent billions trying to overthrow him. Now, this is through the use of what is called color revolution. This is part of what happened in the Ukraine area, as well as several other countries. This is in here because this is in relation to the other recent change about enabling purchasing lobbying towards foreign governments. Now, it's kind of putting light on all of this that is going on with this color revolution. Most people are unaware that this is even going on. So I think this is positive to bring this all out and shine a bit of light in what is going on with the United States interference in foreign countries. So a couple of other stories. Unfortunately, this Marine that was killed in a recent Philippines crash was identified. More interestingly is what his specialty was. EM warfare analyst. And I'm going to leave it there. If you want to join our Discord discussion, feel free to bring this up. We've got what they're calling devilfish. Now, these are normally at extreme depths, and this one is beginning to come forward. We're watching not just this species, but several others from the depths of the ocean. There's increased volcanic activity. These have nothing to do with the markets. I understand that, but these are just some of the side things going along in this world, showing some of the different changes that are coming, and a little bit more towards direction, if you will. We've also got this river that has turned this color deep red. They're trying to figure out what is causing it, saying it's probably not toxic. Somehow that does not make me feel better, but I'm not there. So they're looking into this. So a lot of very interesting things happening in the background. You got anything about this? Feel free to leave me a comment or just drop a coffee cup emoji if you would. Say hi. Thank you so much for staying with me. Hope you have a wonderful day. And until I see you again, of course, stay free.